You are listening to the General Conversation Podcast, Season 3, Episode 2. This is Valerie,
This is Cord.
and we're glad you guys are listening to us today. How are you guys feeling out there? Hope you guys are doing well, staying safe. Cordero, how are you today?
Man, I'm kind of sleepy actually, yo.
Is it the weather?
It always is. Like I'm looking outside, I see the gloomy weather. The sun's not out, and I feel like it's gonna rain today, and I feel it coming. You know how folks, I can feel it in my bones. My knees was aching this morning when I got up. It's gonna
Ooh, now your
rain.
age is gonna start
I
showing.
know,
Ooh.
right? So I'm feeling like it's gonna rain because I'm feeling drowsy. So that's where I'm at right now.
Or it could be you just ate. You probably got the itis.
A combination of both. It could be a combination of both. You know?
Okay. Well, I'm doing pretty good. We're just gonna jump right into it. Um, so I had a birthday last week. Yeah, I had a birthday
Mhm.
last Friday.
Whoop whoop whoop
I
whoop.
know. And it was nice, but I think I had a little bit of like I was definitely sad during parts of my birthday because
Oh
I did take a I know,
no.
oh no. I did take like a staycation. Well, I stayed in Georgia, but I went to a hotel. So it's like I was just in another another room.
Right.
But and it was nice. Like I will say the hotel that I stayed at, they did very well about cleanliness. They had sanitation stations all over. I could tell every time I walked into the elevator, like that somebody had disinfected. Look, I was like, I'm here for it. And everybody had to wear their mask and everything like that. Check in was a breeze, and also you could have checked in through their app. I didn't pull up the app because I already have like 9 billion apps on my phone. But I just like the process was really smooth. I stayed at near the Chateau in Lund, which is a gorgeous place. Cordero, I know you know about it because you said your friend had his wedding there. But it's a beautiful place. It
it's
looks magical.
it's
Like I'm not going.
fancy.
It's
It's
fancy.
fancy.
Yeah, so I enjoyed my birthday for what it was. And when I say for what it was, is because it's still in COVID time. So even though I would go out and do certain things, it's not like I did a lot, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my God, is this sanitized? Is this? So it was very traumatic in a sense. Like I couldn't even enjoy myself. And when I would start to have fun, it was like, you're having
Uh-oh.
too much
Hey, calm down. Bring it back. Bring it
fun.
back.
I kind of had that idea in my head because last year I was in Miami and I got to travel and fly, and I just feel like it was. Even though when I think about it, that trip wasn't a good trip either because the weather sucked, and they were saying like, yeah, we hadn't had drop in like January. We haven't had this kind of weather. It was like 40 degrees since like 2020, 2010, and that was 2020, and I was like, so that was the start of the Armageddon of
Right, right.
of the car. Everything was just a shit show
It
in
was it was
2020,
it was
man.
all downhill from there.
But shout out to the January babies, the Aquarius, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for 2021. But I will say my birthday, it wasn't extravagant. I'm a big birthday person. I do for Christmas and things like that. But I'm like for birthdays, like whether it's your birthday, my birthday, whoever, I'm like big on birthdays. So there was a little bit of a letdown, but then I had to remember, like, you doing the best you can. You
Right,
want to be safe. You don't want to be out there trying to live your best life, quote unquote, unquote, and then get sick.
right.
So you're taking the precautions, and even now I'm quarantining myself. Not feel like I don't feel sick or anything, but I have an older father, so I'm just trying to be, and I work from home, so there's no reason for me to really be out anyway. And I've been trying to make sure, like, when I pick up my groceries, it's kind of like a drive up kind of situation, or I get the groceries delivered. So just being cautious and still, because I mean, even though it's going on a whole nother year, but I don't want to be irresponsible with how I move around, and and just contribute to anything that I can do to protect myself and protect others, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, that was just my spiel, and I just want to know if anyone out there has like some kind of. I think this is what I feel like. I feel like we as a society, and I mean just from different countries and everything, people that have been staying inside or just doing what they're supposed to do, we are going to have this like PTSD of COVID. Like we're going to have this symptom, and I'm sure people probably really do have that, especially if someone has died, they had
Mm-hmm.
have passed away, things like that from COVID, or if they had a severe case of it. Like I'm not saying everybody because there's a Trey Songz of the world who be out here trying to act like they can't follow rules and regulations. But anyway, what I'm saying is there is a certain in the back of your mind when you hear somebody cough, like, wait, who what?
For
I think I
real.
had a dream the other day about somebody sneezing and it was a nightmare. But yeah, I think there's like a trauma that's gonna come along with 2020 and just the COVID and even now. So
Yeah, yeah. I definitely see that being a thing because, like, I think for people, especially people who either know somebody who got it or know somebody who died from it, or seen or seen firsthand, um, the effects of it. And I think that especially the frontline workers, they're definitely gonna have a
right.
PTS, you know, a
For
PTSD about
sure.
it. Just because, you know, it's to them, it's more real to them. Just because I dealt with that shit, it's definitely more real to me. We know a lot of us are more so word of mouth, hearing about it, or, you know,
Hmm.
second and third hand, but it's definitely gonna be, you know, more real. So,
And
um,
also to those workers, like, thank you guys for doing those long hours. And I think you're absolutely right, Cordero, because most times if we hear about it, it's kind of like, oh, maybe they had it, but it was only like minimum. When you're
right,
a nurse or you in the healthcare field, you're seeing the worst of the worst that's coming to you.
right.
Most time, if you lose a sense of smell or taste, you're not going to the doctor. But if you got chest pains or you can't breathe, yeah, you're gonna go to the doctor in the hospital, and you're gonna and the nurses and the healthcare providers will see that kind of intense, um,
Mm-hmm.
the COVID-19 intense patients like that way. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like I say, even now, you know, before you attribute it to your loss of taste of smell. Oh, it's my sinuses, it's this, or, you know,
Right.
whatever thing, whatever it might be. But now you cough too much, you're like, oh shit, or you sneeze now,
I'm telling you,
or you,
Cordero,
like I
you
say,
ain't
you
lying.
can't smell something because, you know, your nose stopped to blaze, my nose stopped to, or I got the COVID, I got the Rona. Oh
That's
shit, I know
true.
I should have went out. I know I should have now, you know. So,
So true.
like I said, it's definitely gonna be a PTSD thing, um, for a little while at least. It's gonna take, you know, so it's gonna take some time to calm back down.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I just think that we are definitely in from the social distancing and trying and having to stay at home and or worried about the spacing and 6 feet and people not wearing their masks and things like that. I think there's definitely a trauma that has come along with this whole
yeah.
disease.
And one thing, another downside that I kind of feel like it's gonna force more people to be almost more, like me personally, I kind of had an issue with like social media in the sense of it felt like people were being more disconnected. Like instead of calling people and talking to people or going out and see people, everybody kind of just hopped on social media, and you know, kind of got, you know, you forgot how to interact with people. Um, Now, unfortunately, you kind of forced to use social media even to interact with people. Period. So now it's kind of like when this thing is over, are we going to be able to know how to act around each other anymore? You
Right.
know, you've been locked in the
Makes
house. You know, you've
sense.
been in social media, you know, for so long. Now
Social
you're,
distance, yeah.
yeah, you're forced to use it to even communicate now. You know, you can't go out and meet people or stuff like that. You're forced. Are we even going to be able to know how to act around each other? You know, with the sun come back out, you know, it's gonna be a problem. You know, you can forget how to shake people's hand. You know, you gonna miss the dap. You know, you try to dap somebody up and y'all miss it because you uncoordinated. Your coordination's off.
Right, right,
You
right.
know, simple stuff like that. So, man, yeah,
Well, you guys comment below, or just let us know how you all are handling the COVID-19 in 2021, and just let us know your story and how you're feeling about it. Are you still checking on your friends and your family members just to make sure they're okay, safely, and things like that? Are you experiencing PTSD from COVID? Like,
mm-hmm.
what's going on with you guys? Just let us know. All right, Cordero, you got a couple topics for us.
Yes, I have
What you
a few questions.
questions?
Questions. So I feel this is one of the questions I want to know. Do you think you would make a good parent at this very moment? Okay, let's say that we weren't in a pandemic. So just in your everyday norm, you know, yourself, do you think you would make a good parent at this very moment? Why not? Like if you're like,
Why?
bam, baby, right now, boom,
Oh
right there.
God.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope I would. I've never been a parent, so I don't, I don't know. I can't really speak on something that I have absolutely no, I have no experience with. I mean, I feel like I'm a great auntie, but you know, you get those kids back, right? You
No,
know,
you getting back and
you have
like
them for
you.
a couple hours or a few days or whatever, and you give them on back. When it's yours, you know, that's all day, every day. I mean, I feel like I would make a good parent, but I mean, I think, you know, I don't know until I get there. I will hope that, you know, and then half of that too, I think is how the kid is raised, you know, over time. I mean, you can see that in how your children interact with, you know, like if they have manners and, you know, if they're able to express themselves and come and talk to you about things. So I think, you know, that's a kind of hard question to know until you actually have that child.
Mm,
What about you?
mm. Hell no.
Ah,
I don't. I know. I don't have the prerequisites to even begin to think like I'm ready.
yeah, what are the prerequisites?
Patience, patience.
Oh yeah.
You know, for one, like that's a big one. Like I look. I have my mom's dog, right? Watch my mom's dog, and I got three dogs I'm watching, right? And I'm like, yo, like it was. They were doing normal shit, right? Like, and she was like, my dog.
Oh, is that Tiger right there? I see Tiger on the floor.
That's my mom's dog. That's Ashton. No,
Oh,
that's
that's
Kira. I'm
Ash
sorry. That's Kira.
Kira.
Yeah, that's my mom's dog. So like they were doing normal shit, and so like my mom brought Kira stuff over, like a treats and the food and all that kind of stuff, right? And so I'm trying to like and Kira's an older dog, so she she takes like medicine and stuff like that. So
Oh,
I'm trying to
okay.
separate the food and mix the medicine with the food to make sure they don't go on her bowl and eat her food. And now I'm fighting with all three of them because she want to go around to the other side because she don't be bothered. So she walking off going to the other bowl because they in her bowl, and I'm like trying to watch everybody. And then they'll start doing this normal shit like for some reason Kira and Ashton just walking around just pacing, right, not really doing anything. And I'm like, what y'all walking around for? I just mad, right? Like, why y'all walking around for? Y'all making me nervous. What are you walking around for? Get somewhere and sit down. Like I don't like for real.
Okay, so
Mm-mm.
although you're talking about dogs in relation to kids, I mean that's half the battle. Let me tell you this is what I heard you say in your. Let me translate. What I heard was you're caring about these animals, okay? And I'm not calling kids animals, but you caring about these. I'm talking about in relation to
But
the
they are
dogs. You you're caring for these dogs. You care about what's going on. You're trying to separate them. You're giving this Kira medicine which she needs. Like, I mean, that's you got to you okay. You feeding the kid. You worrying about what the kid doing. You ain't just let them out there. You know, it's like that's part of it. You have to be there and paying attention. And you may not have the patience, but I think patience come with time. I have no patience as well, but I think over time that just kind of gets a little bit easier for you to handle. Cause I'm not gonna sit here and like all of a sudden you have kids and you have all the patience. Like I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna set myself up for failure like that. However, like where's my patience? Like I ain't even gonna play myself. But I think that the fact that you care about the dog's well being and you care about making sure that the medicine is taken, is that the dogs are separating, they're not fighting. And although it's stressing you out, you still doing, you're not saying, okay, I'm gonna close the door and not do anything. So, I
True.
mean, you got to give yourself a little bit of credit. And, babies are different, Cordero. So, like they cry, they sleep, they food, they eat, they play with you. Like,
Yeah, but see, I got mad at them for walking around. Like it's like I was like, yo,
So you mean to tell me so you try to correlate this, you gonna be getting yelling at a kid. Why you walking around? They
bro,
like, I'm trying to learn how to walk.
because kids move around. Kids move
They
around. They're
do.
active. They're active. They move around. They want to play. And I was like, why y'all get somewhere and sit down? Sit down.
But that's a lot of parents say that.
Sit down.
Yeah, that's why they put TV on or some kind of electronics and let them do that so they can have peace of mind just for a
Woo.
minute.
I was my blood pressure high from them. It ain't high from eating bacon. It's high from
Lies. Now what we not gonna do is blame them dogs
hey,
because you know you love some bacon.
tear that bacon
What's
up.
your next question, Yon?
My next question is all right. So we're moving on, moving on from that. What are some things that you feel you still need to work on before you get married?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Have I did a self check lately?
Ooh,
I
self
had.
check.
I did a self check last
Check
night
yourself before
actually.
you wreck yourself.
Okay. Some things. I mean, it's a lot of things. It's
Damn.
a lot of things. Um, Patience. I don't have no kind of patience for nothing. Like my patience is short. Um, Learning to communicate a little bit better. That's always nice.
Mm-hmm.
And get and if I am upset or if I am feeling a way, that I could express it articulate and not let things get to me as I'm expressing myself. Um, so those are all the things you should really know how to do before you get married. But I think too, it takes time. Like it's not something that's gonna happen overnight. Um, and you have to self reflect and check yourself and be like, okay, were you too whatever about this, or did that make sense, or you have to have those conversations, but also forgive yourself too. You know what I mean? Like I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people are hard on themselves when they're reflecting on something that has happened, whether it's a relationship or whatever, and then
Right.
they're like, oh, I could have did this better, or oh, you know,
And that's one
I
thing.
should have said this and this. I should have said this and this. And I feel like saying, okay, yeah, I could have handled that better in that moment. And I probably
Mm-hmm.
should have said this to make my statement. However, I'm forgiving myself for not knowing or having the tools in that moment, and it's going to be okay. And that in the future, I pray and I hope that I have the wherewithal to be like, you know what, this
Mm-hmm.
feels like that instance before, and I'm going to do better.
Okay, and I just to let y'all know, I did want to apply that question not just to marriage, but just relationships in general. Relationships or getting married. What do you think? Some things that you need to work on before you get into that long term commitment, whatever which one you want to call it.
What
Yeah,
is yours?
mine. Oh man. Listen. How my boy said, what kind of time you got? Now, for one, I know patience. We keep saying that. Definitely patience being number one. Learning how to share my space with somebody on a
Mm,
consistent
that's
basis.
that's a good one, Cardero.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I know I like sometimes I want to be left alone. It's nothing personal, but I want to be left alone.
You know what? I think that's a great statement. And I'll say that because I can speak for you and I. You and I have been single most of our lives. And that's not to say we haven't been in long term relationships, but that's to say that majority of our adulthood we have been single.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I guess a question that I could piggyback off of that statement is how would we do in with needing space, and will somebody understand that oh, okay, Valerie and Cordero, I'm just putting our games together. They the kind of people that need their space. And I'm sure there's people that's been married that feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely one of those um how can we do this? How can we move forward? And d- because Valerie needs her space, that doesn't mean she's uninterested in it. She just needs her space. And
Right.
so
Right.
I think that is a smart, I mean, let us know out there if y'all experience the same thing. Have you been in long term relationships where you felt like, it's not saying I don't want to deal with you, it's just like I need my space? Or if you're married and you're living together or you live with
Mm.
somebody, how do you deal with that?
Right.
I'm just
Right.
curious to know.
Right. Because that's a big thing too. Like even just moving in or living with somebody in that type of environment, you can't always just yeah, I'm gonna go to my house and you go to your house and type of thing like that. Y'all live together now, so it's like you said, how do you get that space? How do you work your own space into a relationship? I guess this will be my question is the other person is seeking that attention, and you're like, I want to give you attention, but right now I need that mental clarity. I need that mental space to keep myself sane. Make sure I'm not so rigid. Make sure
Okay.
I'm not so rigid with certain things. I know sometimes when I have a thought, sometimes when I have a thought and it makes sense to me,
Right.
or either it makes sense to me or what you doing don't make sense to me, I'd be like, yo, I can't. Right, and I know I can't be so rigid with that. You have to always, and I try to make sure I always try to view things from another person's perspective, or try to make it, have an understanding without being so rigid. Like, nah, that don't make no sense. It ain't gonna work. Nah, we ain't doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because because I think a lot of times we go too far to the left, too far to the right when we say, well, I don't care how nobody feels. Nah, you can't say that when you relationship. You have to care how somebody else feels in a relationship. You just can't dismiss that because that'll get you in trouble.
Right. And I think that's very big of you and smart of you to know that, because I know I joke with you like, oh, Kadira, da 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 da. But at the same time, I think here's the thing: it's not only just knowing that, but also saying, hey, I want to work on that. And I think that's very big of you to say, yes, I reckon because some people like, oh, I already know that about myself, but they're not taking any steps to like correct it or fix it. I'm like,
Right.
it's one thing to know that you cheat, but you're not gonna even try to spend a little money to take somebody out to eat. Like it's like, what's the
Right.
problem? So, and I'm just using that as an example, but it's one of them things that like, okay, or that you get angry easily. Or things can be
Mm-hmm.
triggers for you, and so you just snap off. It's not to say, hey, I know this is my trigger and like I'm not going to do anything to fix it. It's better to be like, this is my trigger. However, I need to like slow myself down and I need to kind of take steps, whether it's counseling or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
take a walk, do a woo-saw, whatever it is that you can get your hands onto to mentally calm yourself down, especially when you're dealing with people. And although we talking about relationships, this can go into your work life, this can go into your
True.
friendships, your
True.
family.
True.
So yeah, so that's very big of you.
Yeah. So those are my things I think I need to work on for a relationship or for marriage or whatever commitment that I jump into. All right. Last but not least, right? What traditional things will you carry into your next relationship? What are some traditional things that you will eliminate?
You
If
go
if you're
first.
if oh no, ladies first. I'm being a gentleman.
No, you
The
always do that. You come
gentleman.
up with these questions and you always want me to go first.
Yeah, Valerie, I feel like this is a good question to have. You need time to think.
Traditional
Yeah,
things.
so whatever traditional things
Yeah, I
that
need time to think because I mean,
yeah, because we kind of have this thing where growing up, we see our parents, we see other people
mhm.
relationships, things like that. It's like, oh yeah, I want to see that, but then also you have the modern side of things to where we're like, hey, this looks good as well. So what traditional things like do you say? Well, I'm gonna take this into a relationship because this is like a foundation for me. And then what things traditional are you like? They did that worked then, but I'm not gonna do that.
Saw this question when you sent it, and honestly, I couldn't think of anything. I think there's some things that I probably do subconsciously just because of where
Yeah.
I live and the things like that. But I couldn't tell you unless I pointed it out. I mean, unless I was doing it, someone pointed out like, oh, you do this and you do that.
Mm,
Because I'm not a traditional kind of person. I don't think. I mean, to me, when I think traditional, I think as far as relationship goes, I think the man works and the woman. I mean, she not saying that she can't, but she like stays home majority with the kids and things like that. And that's
mm.
not really. I'm I'm so different from that.
That's what I mean. Like that exactly what you just said is what I was like trying to lean towards it.
Is that like traditional? Is that like? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
the man working and the woman staying at home. That's an old traditional how
okay.
things used to be type of thing. Like I want to be the housewife and you supposed to go
Well,
out
I
and work.
can't see. Here's the thing. That's why I can't say that. Like, no, I'll never do it because here's the thing. I'm not married and I don't have kids, and people do things for different reasons. Like during that time, maybe that worked out because of
Mm-hmm.
X, Y, Z. But that might I might still be in that same predicament if, let's say, my husband made a significant amount of money and I had the luxury of being at the house, but I know for me that even that it's not just going to be soccer practice and things like that, like minivans is I have to be doing something. So as I said, that wouldn't even work for me, but I can see,
Mm-hmm.
if I was married to a man who had you know, a lot of money and had a job that took care of everything that we wanted to do. And he was confident in doing that and not having that leveraged over my head. And he let me be on my more creative side where money was kind of like, because I'm going to be bringing in money. So that's just what it is. But if it was more of like a hobby for me, and then I kind of focus more on the kids, if we had worked that out
Mm-hmm.
and, that was a thing, but I mean, I think it just depends on your partner. I think it's a very hard statement to say I'm going to be like this. This is traditional, and I'm not going to do this because I can't say once I get married and have kids that I wouldn't stay at home. Like I just wouldn't say that because I don't know. I can't start planting seeds that I have no idea of what my future will be like with the partner I choose. So I think
And
that's very hard.
just from my perspective, I think you did answer the question though. You did.
Hmm.
Just from my perspective, you answered the question like for me at least. No, with the
Okay.
viewers. For
Okay.
me at least.
So how about you? What's some traditions that you will do or won't do?
I don't. I think I. I think traditionally, I think I'm gonna say it's tradition for what I've seen men traditionally kind of wanted more submissive women. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, because for one, I don't know why that's a trigger word for me. Like submit, submissive, those kind of, those are trigger. I'm like, what, do what? Submit to who? Like, I don't know. I don't necessarily need that. I think I more so want somebody or need somebody to like,
Right,
I don't
right.
need, I don't, I don't need you to shut up. I need you, if I'm fucking up, I need you like, Daryl, you're fucking up. Like, you're really fucking up right now. I mean, of course, respect is respect, say it in a way that, I can receive it. But even if you see me going down that road, well, I'm gonna let he the man. I'm gonna just let him like, no, don't let me lead us off a cliff. I don't,
Right.
because you gotta think in my mind, I think I'm right. And I think
But see, okay, so let
that's
me
what
say
everybody
this.
though.
If in your mind you think you're right and you do want somebody that's gonna speak up, are you receptive when she speaks up? Because I think that's one thing to say, I
Right.
want a woman to do this, but then at the same time, knowing that your perception of the way you handle things is, well, I'm right. See, that's gonna be about a battle right there. And a lot of times people don't want to sit there and argue with you about something you doing. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to
Right.
come to you as your woman to say X, Y, and Z, but if you're gonna already be like, I'm right, whatever, it's like, yeah, I see
Okay.
you fucking up, but why would I say something? Well, that's gonna be an argument, and I don't want to argue with you about some
Okay.
shit you doing.
And I gotta think like that's why I think for one, you do have to learn the person you're with. Because even though I say like in my mind I don't think I'm right, I know me. If you sit down and show me, Cadell, this is where you're wrong, and you have your thing of telling me how I'm wrong and backing it up, I'll listen. I'm like, damn, that was fucked up. Like, like Cadell, this right here, this didn't work out last time for this person, and this is how this look. This is where I found a way better. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. That does look better. I might not like it. I'm like, I'm gonna have to take that pride pill and swallow it. But I know if you show me like that I'm wrong, and you like not just the way I think you're wrong because you're wrong, but Carol, you're wrong because of X, Y, Z.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm more likely to receive that because ultimately, me personally, I'm a problem solver. So if you come at me like, Carol, look, this is the problem. This is the solution that I think could help us out in a way to do it better. I'll
Yeah,
listen.
I
I'll
just
be
think whether you're a man or a woman, it's about being perceptive. If you are more of the take charge kind of personality and you have that takeover spirit, or
mhm.
if you very like a personality, you like to have things a certain way, I think that when you're in a relationship, regardless of what it is, but since we're talking about romantic or whatever, I think you have to be for youth to say, I want a woman that's assertive and don't mind telling me, of course, tactfully that, hey, yada yada yada, I didn't like this or this isn't working because you did this last time and da da da. I think honestly though, you have to self check yourself and say, am I going to receive this information and receive what this person is saying to me?
Mhm.
And I think that's just where it is.
Me personally, that's how I know I operate. If you can show me, like, yeah, this is where you fucked up at.
But what if somebody doesn't want to show you? They feel like that's I gotta prove it to you because it's like I think this is too. I had an issue one time where I was talking to somebody and I was telling them it was as simple as like almond milk not being sweet and then milk being sweet, right? That wasn't really what it was, but it was as simple as that. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, this is unsweet almond milk. And I'm like, no, it's sweet. And they're like, no, it's unsweet. And I'm like, no, it's sweet. Like I bought it. I know it's sweet. No, it's unsweet. And then start going on this whole tangent. And I'm just like, how you gonna tell me? And
About my
I had to literally get up in the refrigerator, open it, show them that it's sweet, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it is sweet." It's like, why the fact that I'm telling you something that's mine that I bought, I gotta prove that. See, that's gonna to me
well
that cause for me that causes me to be like, I'm telling you, and now why's you arguing with me about
well
my
I
stuff?
think that's kind of like that was coming from a place of I ain't even call it ignorant. That's coming from a place of like them just wanting to be right because it seemed
But
like
I'm just saying, you see how I'm saying that you like sometimes you gotta show me, and I'm just like, sometimes people want to be like, well, I'm telling you should be enough. Like it didn't work.
what I guess my thing with well just like using that example or whatever like but that was your almond milk. You know who was sweet or not. Like him trying to prove you wrong some shit that's yours. That's not. I can't. Yeah. Like if a girl tell me, yeah, my car don't yank you so fast because my car my wheel might fall off. I would tend to listen because it's not my car. You see what I'm saying? Like she know her car better than I know her car. She been driving it a hell of a lot longer than I have. So if she tell me that you yank it to the far too right, I'm like, if I yank it, it's not gonna go. You know, that's kind of dumb. Like that's kind of stupid.
Funny, funny.
But
Do you have any more? Oh, that was your last question. I want to say, do you have any more questions?
no, that was my last question. Is in the comments below, if you all want to share, what are some traditional things that you would carry into your next relationship, and what are some traditional things that you think you would eliminate? You know,
Yeah,
also,
let us know.
do you think you will be a good parent now as you stand or not? And what's the last one said? What
And
are
are
some
you a
things?
parent? Look, are you a parent now? You ain't
Hey,
going so
look,
well.
how you doing?
This
How you making it? What's going on with you?
COVID-19 got you acting all kinds of crazy. Just
Oh yeah,
let
and
us
then we'll
know.
say, what are some things you feel like you need to work on before you get into your next relationship or be married? Like, I think I really like that one. You know,
That was a good
It's
one.
self-reflective.
Well, definitely, which we all need to do at times. So yeah. But don't beat yourself up. I want y'all to do that. Recognize it, notate it, work
Yeah,
on it, but don't beat yourself up
I
about it
definitely agree with
because
that.
we are humans. We are molding ourselves to be the better reflection of ourselves. So
Yeah, embrace your mistakes and learn from it. Shit,
yeah.
hell. All right, y'all. Well, I got nothing else. Bella, you got anything else
Nope.
for these wonderful, wonderful people?
Thank you guys again for listening. Again, this is season 3. We're gonna keep doing this thing till we can't do it no more. We appreciate y'all for listening to season 1 and 2. We hope that you guys continue to listen, give us feedback, and let us know if you want us to talk about any topics in particular. It's been real.
Peace.
Peace.